All right. Well, here we are. Welcome to the Creators Lounge podcast. I'm Almighty Senpai, and with me as a co-host here is beautiful man, beautiful father, beautiful husband, great friend. He keeps it creamy at all times. Got MilkMan to my left, right? I don't know. He's over there.
The milkiest.
And joining us today, I am kind of fangirling a little bit. I don't know why, but
you wish you could do the beard. I think that's what it comes down to.
Maybe it is the beard. I had to shave recently. Damn you, military! Joining us today to talk about who knows what is Tophomatic. Did I say that right? Tophomatic?
Yeah. Hopefully to awkwardly talk about himself.
Yeah, hopefully, awkwardly.
There's no awkward about what we talk about. Like, I think after you hit like a certain age, you just get comfortable talking about anything.
Yeah,
and it doesn't matter from there. If you get offended, that's on you. If you feel uncomfortable, that's on you. But we're gonna talk about this. So.
I need to get to that age. When do I hit that threshold?
I don't know. It just happens randomly. I think also the more that you just kind of keep doing it and start pushing the boundaries, you realize that the boundaries just keep going further and further away. So I
think having kids is a big part of it too.
Yeah.
You just got to keep it real. Look, if you don't keep it real for the kids, they're going to grow up being retarded. Ooh, I'm not allowed to say that, am I?
I think the politically correct term, we don't even know anymore. It changes.
Everything changes so fast.
They're going to grow up without an optimal intelligence level.
I find new things that apparently you're not supposed to say every day on like Twitter or something. I'll just be scrolling through and then find some random thing about like a movie, and then everybody goes into just crazy haywire internet mode, and they just kind of start bashing whatever it is that happened, and they lose their minds.
That's just social media. You can't watch and do anything without someone being offended by it. I've watched some of the most innocuously, like, genuinely heartwarming things, and someone's over there pissed off in the corner. You're just going, that was really offensive. Like, I think one of the most recent ones, and I loved the response to it, but some little girl wanted braids in her hair. She was talking about the brown lady. She wanted braids in her hair. She's probably like 6. Some guy was like talking about like culture and appropriation and all that.
Oh man!
And everyone, and then their comments it was great because all the comments were like, "She is 6 years old. You are getting angry over a child,
literal child." Yeah.
But that's just social media. Everyone's got to be offended. It's the trend. It is what is trending right now. If you're not offended, you're not trying to get views.
It's so true.
That's really true. Yeah, I mean, if you look at the top, videos and things like that, it's all about watching the Karens go crazy, watching this or that.
Yeah.
Overly dramatic or emotional about something.
It's all about the being butthurt and cancel everybody for every little thing. And then because it's the internet and there's limitless possibilities, you find a ton of people who just so happen to think the same way you do. And then it just becomes a huge group of people who are just like going in on whatever it is you find.
Well, hopefully one day we'll get to a point where people kind of wisen up to the nonsense tactics that happen out there. Like the see-me's and the pick-me people that just do random shenanigans just for views, and do the fake outrage people. To look at me and try to get some views. So
that's kind of like been I don't know if you guys scroll through TikTok.
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah. So I do, and that's a lot of what like TikTok lives are people like actively doing things to get some viewership. It's mainly a cash grab on TikTok though, because you see this one guy. There's this one dude mainly who pops up, and he's smart. Okay, he's not dumb. He recorded a live stream once where he's trying to build a deck of cards, and he's fake crying, and he's like, "Don't send a galaxy." And I guess a galaxy.
Exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah, I guess a galaxy is like a pretty high amount of money or something. I don't know. And then whether somebody sends one or not, he knocks it down because it's a recording. And everybody's spamming there. Somebody sent a galaxy. Somebody sent a galaxy. And the guy, like, whenever he's just low on money, he just rehashes that same recording. And that happens like 2 or 3 times a week. And it's like hours long where people are just sending galaxies because they can't tell that it's a recording.
That's interesting. Yeah, I know Twitch has rules on that. You got to tell them if it's a recording. I don't know about TikTok.
TikTok doesn't care.
TikTok is a little bit of the Wild West, but there's some things that they're a little bit more strict on now versus like say Twitch. But yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about. I'm like, how do people watch this? Like, I got about 5 seconds in. I'm like, I want to. There's few people I ever want to punch in the face, but like I was just done. I was like, I can't handle him. Like,
I
he's
would
just
literally assault you.
overly annoying. I'm like, this is just nonsense. I'm just skip through.
And like, I will, because when you first see a live pop up, you're not actually in the live. You have to like tap the screen to go into it. And me just wanting to know how many people are watching and like what it's all like, I'll click on it.
You mess up your algorithm by saying, I like to see stuff like this.
Yeah, so I'll click on it and I'll see that he has like thousands of viewers and everybody's spamming like send a galaxy. Then you have like the one smart guy who's like, don't send a galaxy, it's a recording. And then everybody's like, shut the hell up, man. No, it's not. And they're like losing their minds. And then
I guarantee that most of those people are like children. They're probably young kids that are just impressionable and using mommy and daddy's money to send galaxies or whatever to some rando pretending to cry on a stream. So
man, I'm not a father, but hey, if I catch my kid using my credit card, we got problems. We got problems.
I mean, I agree. I just everyone else's parenting is very different.
That's very true.
So
true.
And maybe I'll take that back whenever I am a father. Who knows? I won't know until I actually become one in like 20 years.
You never know.
What happens?
You never know when it's gonna happen.
True.
You give them the card and you're like, oh, I can trust you. I know I can trust you. And then you see the TikToks and you're like, okay, no more credit.
And then you see the TikTok, you're like, no.
Damage is done, but yeah, no.
$140 on TikTok? What
is this galaxy that you bought?
I bought a galaxy. Okay.
Is it like name a highway thing? Like you named a galaxy? Like, well, what is that?
Right. Like claim a plot of land, become a lord in Scotland.
Anyway, we kind of got off crazy. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, Topher, and what it is that you got going on?
A little bit of everything. So obviously I'm Tophomatic. I took a break from streaming. So I like to say I'm a content creator. I'm a streamer, but I haven't really streamed in almost a year. Took some time off, but I started streaming back in March of 2020, playing, what everyone else does when they first start, think they're going to make it really big. Like, I'm going to be a Call of Duty streamer. But I was mediocre at best at the game. And over time, just really started to enjoy the content creation, so shifted gears, became more of a just chatting streamer for a long time. Moved from Facebook to Twitch, because that was a thing right around the time when Mixer got absorbed by Facebook is about the time I switched from Facebook to Twitch.
Rip Mixer, dude.
And just was just creating content for a long time and kind of finding my groove. And then I made the mistake of doing a subathon.
I remember that.
And completely burnt myself out. It was like 35 days it lasted. And I had done it for chat. I was doing it for a good reason. I wasn't doing it for myself. Actually, every penny that I made that went to my stepdad, who was battling cancer at the time. Unfortunately, he passed away from it. But we raised all this kinds of money, and I was like live streaming, I was sleeping on stream. It was crazy. Um, but I really learned very quickly towards the end of it that I just wasn't really happy with my content. I was like, man, I'm just becoming one of those goddamn streamers that are just doing reactionary videos or doing stupid things for views. I wasn't creating content. I was just trying to act stupid for views, and I was like, I don't really enjoy what I'm doing. I want to take a break, maybe kind of figure some things out for a couple weeks. A couple weeks ended up being a couple months. A couple months ended up being almost a damn year. So and I basically I did streams here and there, but they were very few and far between. But you know, then I relocated back to New York, where I took my old job back at much higher pay. So they're paying me a lot more than what they used to basically do what I did before, which is I'm a designer by trade. I do graphic design, art, logos, all that fun stuff. And they really, really, really wanted me back, which I really, really, really didn't want to go back. But they gave me enough money offer to make me reconsider. So that was part of the journey back. And then I decided a few months ago we're going to be making a return to streaming starting January. So, and I won't be on Twitch though. I've decided to cut ties with Twitch, despite the purple background. That wasn't a Twitch thing.
It's not a clue.
It wasn't a clue to where I'm going. You know, I decided to just focus mainly on YouTube. To do the growth on there, because I'm not going to be streaming all the time. And that was one of the things. It's like I wanted to create more content, things that are beneficial to people. Like when I really kind of like switched from Call of Duty and got into more things that I was more passionate about, I wanted to kind of inspire other people. I wanted to talk about things that mattered and discuss things that other people weren't willing to discuss but needed to be discussed. Whether it was, say, sexual assault, sexual harassment, domestic violence, mental health, being a man in 2020 kind of thing. Like, what does it mean to do that? And like have those discussions open and try to kind of inspire people to be the better versions of themselves. Maybe not the best, because you're never going to be the best. You're always going to be striving to be better. But just strive to just be a better person. And that's where I kind of wanted to go. And I knew that my content kind of was falling away from that. I was eating spiders on stream.
Oh, God. Okay.
that was where it went. And I was like, at that moment, I hated it. Spiders are my worst fear. But it was like a part of the subathon. I was like, this is what I'm doing for views. This is the content I'm making versus this is the content I wanted to make. And it was just so far away from each other. I decided I just needed a break to kind of collect myself. But starting in January next month, doing some gaming. Still not the content I want to make, but it's mostly just to have fun, hang out if I'm gaming, but also creating those videos that talk about other things. Like I do want to have those roundtable discussions. I do want to have people that we talk to about the real life issues that are plaguing us, like the fake outrage people, and you know, all this nonsense that we are told that we just have to accept as the reality that we all know is fucking nonsense. It's absolutely ridiculous, but we are too afraid to talk about it. It's like, no, like we should talk about it. We should bring some common sense back to the world and try to like not allow this ridiculousness to kind of overshadow what we really need to be focusing on, being better people. And you know, not to say that you can't be a good person, but that's pretty much the gist of it. I know I just rambled on there. My brain just went.
Hey, no, that's exactly what this podcast is we all get on tangents and then we get lost for a little while.
Yeah.
We've gone through podcasts with a very specific topic and never talked about it once.
Yeah.
Oh, yep, absolutely.
my scatterbrain goes crazy.
Yeah.
Man, one of those things that wasn't talked about. I had a bit of a lull in November. So in the beginning, I stream weekly, In the beginning of November, I got super sick. I just couldn't even get up off the couch, let alone even attempt to stream. So I took like 2 weeks off. I don't know what it was. Wasn't COVID. I took a bunch of tests because the military makes you and everything else.
Did you have a cough that would never go away?
I had a cough, hot and cold sweats, like weak everywhere. Like even just walking up to go to the bathroom, it was tough. Like I was never like nauseous, but didn't have any appetite. Like I was either sweating or just freezing, migraine. I mean, you name it. I think I just had like the flu, kind of like a variation of the flu or something. I don't know what it was, but yeah, I took 2 weeks off there. And then when I finally felt better, I came back to streaming, and then my computer wanted to implode because it wasn't getting enough cooling. So I took another week off, and then it came to the week of Thanksgiving. And there was some stuff plaguing my mind. I found out through a damn TikTok that November is Men's Mental Health Month at like the end of the month. And I was like, why are we not talking about this, man? And then there's a day in November called International Men's Day too that was just skimmed over. And I'm thinking to myself, I talked about this on stream a little bit. I was like, man, if it was anybody else in the world, you'd get notifications from all of your social media. Google would have a fucking homepage for it, like everything else. But we're not talking about this shit. And so like that kind of like put me in a bit of a mood. And I tried to talk about it with my woman, and she was just kind of like, okay. And I was like, all right. So this isn't a conversation that anybody wants to have. So I took another week off during the Thanksgiving week or whatever because of that too. I was like, dude, I'm not in a place to stream, because if I start streaming and then I bring this up, I'm going to start rambling, and then I'm going to be this person who takes a stream where I normally play a game, and then we're going to spend 2 hours talking about shit that maybe only I care about. So
I think you should though. And this is my perspective on people that stream. Like no one is there to watch you play a game. Right. No one's there to watch you play a game. If they wanted to play a game, they just play a game. Like if they wanted to see like gaming highlights and stuff like that, they're just gonna go to YouTube for that. Most people are there to interact with you as a content creator, and I think a lot of content creators out there kind of miss that point. They're there to support you, obviously, but have those discussions. Have the discussions that are important to you as yourself, like things that are important to you, because that also helps weed out the people that don't give a shit. Maybe, but it also brings out the people that do. And some of those people that are being silent, that are like, no one wants to talk about this, and you're talking about it. They're like, I've been kind of silent. I haven't talked about it because I didn't feel comfortable talking about it. I wasn't comfortable because I was afraid that no one else gave a shit. And so having someone that they look up to talking about the topics that they're the most important to them at the time, it really kind of helps open a lot of things up. I've had deep discussions on my streams before about all kinds of shit. And then there's times where we try to have a deep discussion and we're talking about poop. So
been there.
There's going to be like a back and forth between them. But if something is important to you, talk about it. Even if you're afraid that no one else is going to care, you're never going to have those discussions. And those discussions need to be had. And I think a lot of people we have an international something day for every fucking thing out there. So it kind of almost devalues the days that maybe should be more important, or have those days that we should be discussing. I know I follow a lot of like men's advocacy kind of sites and channels and stuff like on YouTube. And, I kind of watch the whole shift of how feminism is in today's society, modern feminism as they call it, and how men are treated versus how women are treated kind of thing. So I follow all that, and it's all extremely important to me as an individual. So as someone that on the sidelines kind of listening to you talk and say, I didn't really have these discussions because I was afraid no one's going to talk about it because my wife doesn't care. Your wife doesn't understand. It's not that she doesn't care. It's just not a problem that she has to deal with. She has a very, very different perspective. So you got to have those conversations with people that do understand or are in the same boat as you. So you can kind of talk about them.
And I think the reason why it hit me so hard is because I mean, I'm military, active duty Air Force, or I was. I'm in the process of getting out. Not important. Whatever. It doesn't matter. And my job is basically all males. We work on jets, and the reason of that is a whole nother story altogether as well. But you see a bunch of dudes who are always going through it, and then you see a dude who comes in who's always super lively and super loud. Then one day he's just not. And then luckily I haven't had the situation where I've known somebody who's passed away for any given reason. But there's a lot of people in our job or our expertise that do know people that have. I mean, as soon as you make a certain rank in the Air Force and you work on aircraft, I believe it's E7, they ship your ass to Korea for a year. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And then all of a sudden, because you are that rank, you're able to shred out from just the F-15 that we work on, and you're able to work on F-15, 16s, A-10s, U-2s. So all of a sudden, they're getting deployed like 6 months out of the year, almost every single year. So it starts to weigh pretty heavy on those individuals. But I've seen so many people who, like I said, they're the upbeat, lively people. I'm that kind of guy when I would go into, because aircraft maintenance sucks. So nobody wants to do it. So you need people who are going to be like happy-go-lucky and loud and whatever else. But then when they come in and they're not, it's just like, bro, are you okay? Like, we can go in the vault and turn on the Xbox that we're not supposed to have in there and play some games and ignore some jets for a while and just talk about some shit.
Yeah. I mean, everyone goes through shit. Like, it's never perfect for anyone all the time.
True.
That's the thing. It doesn't matter how young or how old you are. And we were having this discussion like a little bit pre-starting this, where trying to figure your life out. That's one thing I've realized, that it doesn't matter how old you are. I don't think you ever fully have life figured out. You just kind of get a little bit better with things, and you kind of figure things out a little bit more. But no one has no one. Even the people that seem to have it all together don't have their shit together. Look at some of the richest people out there. They're the fucking craziest people you know. Like, they're bonkers. They believe in some of the weirdest shit. You're like, why would you believe in that? It's because they don't have their shit together. Like, they don't have their shit. They're reading the same things that we are. They're listening to their Facebook friends for sources of information, facts, and stuff like that. Like, they're all people. Everyone's a person. No one has their shit together. Some might have their shit together more than others. Let's be honest. But no one has their shit completely together, ever.
It's that saying from that shirt ad I always see. How can I act my age? I've never been this old before.
Exactly.
I don't know how to act my age.
Ow. Sorry, just hit my elbow on my desk. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I'm about to get out of the military, and I feel like this happens to everybody in the military. I don't know if either of you have been in the military, but
I haven't. No.
No. You love it or hate it. I'm one of the people that don't enjoy it all that much. So I'm like, I'm getting out. And now that I'm about to get out, I'm like, what the fuck am I gonna do in my life now? I thought I had a job lined up. Turns out that was a big old fucking scam. So what am I gonna do now? I have no idea. I'll just go start fucking Ubering here or some shit.
I say do whatever you want. I mean, the unknown is always terrifying for people, especially when you don't have anything to fall back on. So, coming out of even like the military, college, schools, whatever avenue you're coming from, there's always that transitional period that is scary as hell, where you're just like, I don't know. One, it's the fear of failure. Like, what if it doesn't work? What if it doesn't fail? I don't have the military to back me up anymore, so I can't rely on them. It's over. Like, I'm done. Now it's all entirely on me, and that's a terrifying feeling for a lot of people, because now they have to like nut up or shut up kind of thing. Like, but most of the time, that fear is way worse than the reality. The reality is there's always something to do. Even if you have to suck it up a bit, maybe do something you don't like for a little while until you find the right thing that makes you happy and fulfilled. It's just as long as you're not willing to settle for that shit job, but know that you're utilizing that shit job until you find something that works, something that happens for you. And that's I wish more people follow that mentality. Just utilize what's available. Make sure you're not like homeless and you're taking care of your family. You're still contributing and providing for, yourself and loved ones if God forbid you have a family. Um, but you can do whatever you want. I truly believe that. Like, I'm not saying it's gonna be easy. I'm not saying it's just gonna jump right into it, but like, oh yeah, $100,000 a year right here, just doing this. You might have to work up for it a little bit.
Yeah, I'm huge into hard work gets you exactly where you want to be, and maybe that's the military instilled in me. I don't know. Before I went in the military, I was the laziest piece of shit. I'll be real with you. I worked at GameStop and didn't make jack shit for years prior to that, and yeah, 6 years of just salary. Oh, dude, let me tell you. Regardless of how many times I was sick or whatever else, just salary. So nice. It was so nice. But nah, they have I can use the GI Bill. I think the plan is just to go to school. I'm gonna go to school, finish out my degree. That's what I want to do. I was gonna go to school part time to finish out my degree. I have like a year and a half left anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But with the GI Bill, if you go to school full time, they pay you BAH monthly, which is more than enough to keep this little dinky 1-bedroom, 1-bath apartment to myself. And then if I want extra money, I'll just go deliver some shit on my own time on Uber Eats or something, because half the time when I'm not doing anything, I'm just sitting on the fucking couch, and it's really flexible. I get to work when I want, I don't have to worry about a schedule.
After school, what's the goal after school? Because obviously the first step is get back to school. I think it's great. And then, like you work on the side to kind of make sure that you're extra money, pay, whatever you want to do. Buy the pornos on pay-per-view. Get that Pornhub Plus account.
He knows you.
Yeah, they had a free week.
Whatever you want to do, there's like that's extra money. Like I get the special lotion this week.
Growing up, I was like, dude, I'm gonna make fucking video games. Like, I want to be a part of the dude that programs like the levelscapes and like the landscapes and the levels and everything, like the collision, just make the levels feel nice. Now that I play games so often, I'm like, I don't want to fucking do that. So it's not necessarily video games, but what I want to do is get into the programming of like menu systems and that. So, I mean, I'm on LinkedIn and whatever else you name it, and I've really narrowed it down to like, it's basically streaming softwares, because that's like the main thing. I want to be part of the team that like can program the UI for a streaming software, or like help design like how it's laid out and stuff. No shade, but full shade. The guy at Hulu sucks, and he designed the one in Call of Duty, and it's absolutely awful. And I feel like a 5th grader could do better. So I should get hired to do that because I can fix it. But it's getting there. But the problem is with all this stuff, they require you to have this degree. So school wasn't like what I wanted to do, but I was like, you know what? Nut up or shut up. I'll get the fucking degree. It is what it is. Military's going to pay for it. I don't care.
Is it a specific company you want to work for?
So they actually, around here, there's a lot of Netflix hubs, and a lot of them are even like work from home, but I don't really want to work from home. I've done that the last 6 months, and now I'm just getting fat and lazy, and it sucks. Working from home, I was like, this is going to be great. Work from home, dude. I don't got to do jack shit. And then a month in, I was like, working from home actually sucks. I want to go outside. But Netflix has got a few hubs out here, and they're posting for jobs as far as like programming and UI design and everything, like weekly. Now, I don't know what that's going to be like in the future, given a year and a half when I actually get the degree. I'll cross that bridge when I get there. But I'm open to like, hey, if I got to move for a job, I'll move. I'm not tied down. I'm not married. I don't have kids.
How old are you?
I'm 25.
So oh God, this is
yeah.
Right.
See, that's what I'm saying. I'm open to go anywhere.
Here's the thing. This is advice I would give to anybody, especially if you're looking to work with a specific company. Get your foot in the door. You're more likely to be hired from within the company than to be hired brand new. because they don't know your work ethic, they don't know your skill set. A resume can be fabricated or embellished a lot, and that's one of the things that we deal with. If you can get in the door, doesn't matter what position, get in the door with the intent of knowing that this is what I'm working up to, and let them know. I mean, I'm not saying go be a janitor, but I'm saying you can start working within a field that maybe doesn't require a degree to start in there. Like, I want to work for Netflix, I want to work for the hub to do this. This is my end goal. And when a position opens up, I want to be able to apply for it. I'm actually going to go back to school for it. They might even offer programs or in-jobs training. It's much easier to train someone to do things their way than to reprogram a degree person that has been taught a specific way that doesn't work for that company. I do the same thing all the time. Like, I hire designers all the time. I love self-taught people. I love self-taught people more than I love people that have gotten a bachelor's degree, because bachelor's degrees, and it's not to say that there's not a reason for it. Like, if you go to college, it's great, awesome, kudos, but you have to also be willing to adapt based on what it is. I get so many people that are like, I learned it this way, this is how we're supposed to do it. I'm like, that's not how we do it, kind of thing. Like, we are on a timeline, you're on a crunch, you got to be able to kind of adapt and be able to be a little more flexible. A lot of companies are more willing to train from within and teach you to become that person. So I would say start looking at those jobs, start looking at them and see if you can get your foot in the door and build up to the position that you want.
I'll look for some internships or something like that too. Just to, I mean, yeah.
Make sure you get paid.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm not.
Make sure you get paid.
I'm not.
I hate internships. Non-paid internships. I think it's the biggest scam. It's basically just free labor. It's akin to slave labor. It's like, hey, we're going to basically not pay you for a set amount of time and get labor from you, and then
kick your ass out.
And then if you don't meet the expectations, rather train, like, get paid for it. When I started at my job, my current job, like, I've been designing for 20 years, but when I interviewed for the job that I'm hired for now, 8+ years ago, they had not taken down the ad that they were hiring for, like, a lead designer for the department, which was like creative director. And so they didn't have it available. I liked the company. I was like, listen, I'll take anything. I'll work in the warehouse for right now until that position opens up. And I was like, I was a little bit more confident and cocky at the time, because they're like, oh yeah, we just hired someone. If you want, like, I'll be willing to work in other departments until that position opens up, or work alongside and kind of show you my skill set that I can do what I say I can do. And they're like, all right, well, we don't mind the competition. I was like, all right, bet. I'm going to have her job by the end of the year. I had her job in 2 months.
Oh, damn.
One, because a lot of people embellish on their resume. I know this because I've hired people based off of their resume. Like, you said you could do this, this, and this, and this, but just because they, like, maybe done it in school, they put it on their resume and say, oh, like, not everyone knows how to do it. So this person was putting out graphics that I would be embarrassed to put out. And they're seeing mine. They're like, all right, well, you clearly know what you're doing. This person didn't lie about what they were a barista before they got that position. I was designing years before that. So I ended up taking that position, took over the department. I've been doing it since. And, then once the pandemic hit, I left. I was like, I'm out. New York is expensive. I need to make money. So, and in the industry that I work in, is the event industry. Everything was shut down. You couldn't do events. There was no events. No venues were open, nothing. Everything was closed down. So I moved to the Midwest, was doing my streaming where I was eating spiders and stupid stuff. And now I'm back doing that again, but still designing, building my own little business on the side. My goal now is not to continue doing that. I want to retire. Before I'm 50, that's my goal, to retire before I'm 50. And it's not that far away, and it makes me sad inside to know that 50 is right around the corner. Like,
MilkMan's laughing.
It's not that far away, and I'm like, 50. And I don't feel 50. I don't feel 40. I don't like. I
Right.
still feel like that stupid, naive, young 20-year-old kid. I'm not. I'm definitely a lot more on the ball than I was back then. I did some stupid stuff back then.
I still am.
But I still do stupid stuff now.
But you're
Enjoy
supposed-
it. The thing is like you're not gonna have life figured out at 25. Shit, I didn't have
No,
life figured out
no.
at 35. So the most you can do is just work towards the goal to make you happy.
That's
Find something that you're fulfilled with. And find something that makes you enjoy your life, and do that. Working a job that you hate is the worst thing in the world. It's depressing. Everyone hates it. And I get that sometimes you have to work a job that you hate just to get by, and we've all been there. But if you're not striving for something better, you're wasting your fucking life. If you're not striving to do something that you really are passionate about and gives you fulfillment and makes you happy with your life, you're wasting your life. You're just working till you're dead, and that's not a life worth living. And I'm not saying that you should go end yourself. That's fucking stupid. I'm saying it feels like that's where we're gonna deal with the men that are depressed. That's where we're gonna find why so many people are depressed and struggling with enjoying life. It's because they're doing shit that they don't enjoy.
that's why I'm getting out. Because not only did I not enjoy the job, but I'm stuck in one spot. And if you want to go anywhere, you have to accrue leave, and then you have to get it approved, and then a jet breaks right before you leave, so they cancel your leave because you're the only person that knows actually know how to fix the damn thing.
Yeah.
Man, let me tell you, the amount of times I've had shit go bad because I was the only person that they relied on to fix shit. Hate it. Anyway, yeah, now since I'm getting out, shit. I went to Vegas earlier this year. Loved it. I'm going to New York in January. Super fucking excited. Like, I'm just kind of going every which way I can just to fucking get out and actually, enjoy living now that I'm not trapped in this little bubble, this little military bubble. And I shouldn't talk too much. There are people who are out there who actually enjoy the military, and good on them. And totally.
That's the thing.
But I needed to get the fuck out.
If they enjoy it and it gives them fulfillment and it gives them a sense of duty and purpose, and they're satisfied with what they're doing, 100%, that's what they should be doing.
Mm-hmm. And
but if it's not, if you're a miserable fuck, working your ass off, doing something you hate, it's time to find something else. If you're content and happy with doing the menial jobs and you're okay and you still enjoy your life after that, good. Continue doing that. I mean, we need people to do those to work through those shit jobs until we find something that gives us fulfillment. And again, but if you're miserable as hell, like, it's time to move forward and find something else. And it's not going to be easy. Shit, it's not easy. You're going to work your ass off for it, and it might be years before you find it. Or you're going to find out that the one thing that you thought you enjoyed still sucks dick. And you're not happy with that either.
Or switch it up again.
I've done so many things in my life that I thought I'd really... And so, like, when I grew up, I wanted to... That was my goal. I've always been artistic. I wanted to work for Disney. As I got older, I realized I don't want to do that much drawing. Like, that's all. I enjoy drawing, but I'm not trying to do that much drawing. Like, I'm gonna burn myself out. I don't want to do that. I just want to be able to enjoy my craft from the side. And now I design all the time, but I get something different. It's not the repetitive, like. And don't get me wrong, I would still love to just play around with animation. It's just, it wouldn't be a passion like I thought it would be. So, yeah.
So are you completely self-taught as far as graphic design in that?
Pretty much. Yeah, I never went to college for it.
Fucking mind-blowing.
I was going to college for surprisingly, like, psychology, early human development. I thought I was going to be, when I went to college, I was going to, like, do, like, counseling of some sort, because I wanted to help people. Like, that's another passion of mine. I want to help people, like, overcome whatever they're going through and kind of become better versions of themselves. Realized I didn't need a degree for that. I started a business. In college, I was making MySpace pages for bands and musicians all around the world. which quickly blew up, and I was like the top. I think I was in like the top 5 designers in the world at the time. I was making more money than what my graduate. If I went to finish college, I was making more money than what I would be making as a graduate from college. So I was like, "Fuck it, this is awesome." Quit college, started my own business. A year later, everyone went from Facebook to or MySpace to Facebook, and I was like, "Well, fuck, this sucks."
Milkman's face lit up when you said MySpace. I never had one, so I don't even know what the platform's like. But
I remember,
Oh,
I
it was
remember customizing MySpace. Oh my goodness.
MySpace was one of those places that you could kind of make your own. That's what the draw of MySpace. MySpace, you can customize it, and some people were terrible. You got those animated gifs that people would put and repeat it, and so all you saw was this cat dancing back and forth all throughout their entire page as a background, and it was gaudy and horrible as hell. You had your top 8 friends, and if one of your friends wasn't in your top 4 or top 1, like they'd be pissed at you for some reason. Like, why am I not on your top friends list?
was that really what it was like?
Oh yeah, it was.
Yeah.
You could go to your people's pages; they would have their own music playlist, music player. And they would play their songs, their favorite songs. They would to it. It was pretty next level stuff at the time.
Man, Facebook's lame. We need to go back.
But then everyone switched over and went to Facebook, and they at the time you could do a little on their tabs because they had tried to mimic a little bit of Facebook or MySpace, but it wasn't at the same level. Like my business went from I was getting 300 requests a month to design. I'd have to turn a lot of them away.
Holy shit.
But I was getting 300 requests a month from all over the world. I had a professional business phone that so I could call like Australia. I don't remember Vonage. Remember the company? Mm-hmm.
Nope.
So I had a Vonage phone. You know. I was talking to Milkman. He's clearly a little bit older. So Vonage was like a phone service that was basically like an internet phone service, like a digital.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's basically what Google Voice is now.
Yep.
But you could call anywhere in the world, and it didn't cost you really anything. It was just basically call. You had like a little phone set up. It was through Vonage. And so like I'd have clients from Australia, I had clients from China, clients from Europe, London. I think I had South Africa for a couple times. Obviously some in the US as well. So depending on the time of day, I'd call my clients up like, all right, what are you looking for? We do our consultation that we sit down and then I do some basic CSS coding, input the designs I made, and have like a site because I have my own site that would host all the images because you had to host the images somewhere and then send them the code, go to their page, install it, and then their page would be all like professionally done. So
I love fucking around with CSS, dude.
I don't know it anymore. I stopped using it, so I'm like I know very little of what I remember from those days.
Well, I took the standard college course. I'm doing computer science, so that's like the gateway into the rest of the programming world. Is they make you do HTML, CSS, and when I got done with that class, I was like, dude, that was a lot of fun. So now I just sometimes in my free time, I'll sit down and he gave us a website so we could like make our own websites or whatever, and it's super easy to use. I don't know if like actually designing a website is actually this easy, but it's probably not. And CSS is fun to fool around with.
A lot of websites now are responsive, so it's not just CSS that are utilized. CSS is for like the imagery, the basic structure, but now you have Python and JavaScript. That's because everything now is more responsive and it's way more complicated. In the year 2000, CSS was the way to go because you didn't have everything that they weren't as cool. Like websites were not. They're just very different. They're different now, so they're way more complicated. Nowadays, I'm just like WordPress template. I'll just edit those. Like I'm not getting involved with all this nonsense JavaScript.
Yeah, I'm all about Wix editor.
I don't know. I like fucking around with programming though, and maybe I think it stems from fixing jets because it's not just it's not all black and white. You literally have to find the problem, and sometimes the problem in the front of the jet and the indications is happening because of something in the ass end of the jet, and you don't find it until you're about 20 steps into whatever your thought process is, and you're like, I wonder if this one thing could be the problem. Surely it couldn't, but like maybe, and then you go into that spot, and you're like, well, shit. Okay, well, that fixed it. So fucking around with like the different programming stuff. I had fun finding my problems, like finding like where I went wrong.
As someone that's your age, just getting into like the real world,
Literally,
knowing programming is a huge benefit this day and age. Like you can get a job anywhere if you're
that's the hope. That's the hope. And I figured, hey, yo, since I fucking enjoy it so much, I might as well lean into that shit because yeah, I don't see any of that stuff going away anytime soon because everything is automated and internet and technology and
not to take away from blue collar workers, but there was a study, something I read online a couple years back that in the future the blue collar workers are going to be programmers and developers and of these other websites because they're the ones who's kind of controlling everything that's happening because everything's going automated for the most part. So they're basically programming and developers are going to be the new blue collar workers in like the next 20 years.
I could see it. You know,
Yeah.
I could totally see it.
Yeah, and I mean, they're not going to replace them. Obviously, there's still a need for manual.
There's always going to be a need for manual labor to some degree, but I mean, not to the same level that from the 1950s to now. Like a lot of stuff has become automated. Hell,
yeah,
even McDonald's has become automated for the most part, other than the people that are actually manually creating the burgers.
For now, they've got robots that can do it.
Now, I mean, there's a grocery store around here in New York that has a robot that goes up and down the aisle.
Yeah.
And just scans the shelves, make sure things are stocked. If it's not, it'll actually send a report to like their office to restock the shelves or let them know the shelves are empty. There's a fucking robot that goes up and down the aisle, and they put like googly eyes on it.
I can't wait to go to New York. I'm gonna go there just for that grocery store.
Didn't Amazon or something not that long ago, maybe a few years back, actually launched the first completely automated store?
I think I heard that.
Location you go into, nobody's actually there. I mean,
I read something like that. Yeah, they just walk in, grab it, and like leave,
and you don't scan out or anything. You've already, you've got the app or whatever on your phone, and so they just charge it to your account as you leave.
I feel like that was kind of the route they wanted to go as it's been. I mean, I only know from what I've read. This could be a load of shit or it could be completely true. But I've read about workers who have gone through the fucking ringer of like at like Amazon. What are they called? Different stations where they like package a bunch of shit or whatever. Them not having like work breaks and shit. If you like go take a piss or something, they get in trouble and stuff like that. Yeah, distribution center. And it seemed like they wanted to make it all automated as it is, just with the way that they were like the coworkers or the workers were treated. Like I said, could be a load of shit. I don't work there. I don't know. It's just something I read, and maybe it's true. Maybe it's not. Maybe I'm talking out of my ass here. But
I heard the same thing. But who knows?
So long as the cost to benefit ratio is in favor of automation, yeah, they're going to favor it. Do I think that organization with that much optics is going to go out of their way to treat humans poorly to meet that goal? I'd be really surprised.
Bit of a stretch.
We heard the same thing about like Walmart and all that 10 years or so ago, but it was the unions trying to get at them because they didn't want to unionize. I mean, I take all of that with a grain of salt. You don't know what's going on through the CEO's minds.
Walmart does suck though.
I worked for Sam's Club for a while. So
I know my first job was at Walmart. Yeah, I did that shit for 5 years, and I was like, I'm good. I was like, nope. Now my childhood best friend, like that I grew up with, we worked at Walmart together. That man is a manager for Walmart. Like
Yeah.
he's gone. He stayed with them. He's been with them for 20 plus years now. I'm like, I was 5 years in. I was like, no, this is not for me. But that's
Get
what
me
we
out.
talked about earlier. Like, you got to find your passion. Like, I was a miserable fuck.
Yeah.
Like, I hated my life.
And a lot of these outcomes, I mean, they're driven by perception. Your perception was this isn't the kind of thing that I want to do. I don't feel like I'm being treated the way that I want to be. Whereas he was, I want to do this, so I'm going to do what it takes to do that. He got what he wanted, and I think a lot of the stuff, like when it comes to like, hating on corporations and things like that for the way they treat their workers, I think you've got a lot of that because you have different experiences from different people, and so it's perceived a different way and therefore projected a different way depending on who you ask.
And there's also the people that look at they like to look at how much the CEOs and the larger companies like the investors and stuff that put into it. Like, well, they have so much more money. But yeah, of course they do. They also have a lot more of the risk.
Oh yeah,
that you don't. Like they put way more risk. They have more risk than you ever will when it comes to the company. Like they're not just overseeing, your paycheck. They're overseeing hundreds of thousands of people. Plus, you got to make sure the safety guidelines and things are up to snuff and all this. Like they have way more risk than you ever will. So yes, they're going to make more money. Of course, we're at the $12, $15 an hour. Worker is going to be pissed off when they see like the CEO has got a bonus of like $1 million for that. You're like, yeah, that sucks because you're doing all the little labor, but you do it with zero risk. Like you have zero risk when it comes to the company, and this goes for every large scale. That's why I don't pay attention to people that go off like, oh well, they make way more. Oil companies I can see because they're terrible with the gas prices. Come on. Come on.
I work from home now. I haven't refilled my gas tank in like 2 months.
Like this unnecessary. It's unnecessarily high. But no, seriously, yeah, like people don't understand because again, as you said, man, it's about perspective. They don't understand what it's like to be at that level. CEOs are probably going to be putting way more hours in than they ever. Those hourly workers, they carry more risk and have a lot of more burden. So they make money. The trade off is they make more money. They probably don't see their families nearly as much as you do. And that's something that no one ever really thinks about. Like, well, that's their choice. Yes, it is. It is their choice. Absolutely. It is their choice to spend way more hours, 70, 80 hours a week to run a company so you can work for it and make your $12, $15 an hour because that's your choice.
And it's your choice.
And their sacrifice is probably spending far less time with their family, but the trade-off is they can fully support them.
Yeah. And conversely, it's that worker's choice to continue in that position or move on to something that's going to benefit them more.
Become a CEO.
Right.
Go to school, like become a CEO.
Become a graphic designer or,
do what you want.
IT tech,
One day.
sit on a blog and
do a podcast. we don't get paid for this.
Nope. I know that.
Nobody is paid to be here.
Maybe one day the advertising will cover some of the costs and like you'll get paid for advertising costs. I know. But most people do it because you enjoy it. There's a sense of fulfillment with this.
I can't explain how giddy I get when it's podcast recording day. I have way too much fun just sitting here and talking with people. Way too much fun.
It's important. Like it's one of those things where it's an outlet where you have and you're doing something that there feel like a sense of purpose. So at least I do. When I was doing it, like I felt like there was a sense of purpose working to make money to live. Because even then, like you can make a lot of money. And I've made really good money in the past, but it wasn't always happy about it. I didn't just because I made money doesn't make me happy. And I know people are like, oh, money doesn't buy happiness. Well, I'd like to have you don't understand. Like it's not that we didn't enjoy the things that we bought with the money. Certainly those things would make us happy.
Mm-hmm.
But there's far more things to make you happy. You have to have a sense of purpose with what you do to feel fulfilled. And that gives you that joy. Because if we don't have purpose, then we just feel like we're just living, and it doesn't
Just going through the motions.
Yeah, like you don't feel seen. I'm trying to think of the best way to. You don't feel seen. You don't feel heard. You feel very, very lonely.
There's no value to it.
Yeah, and if you feel really, really alone, it's probably one of the worst feelings that any man could ever feel. Is feeling completely alone.
That's why I make friends online now.
Yeah, my best friends are online. I think 95% of my friends are online now.
All my military friends left, so I'm here in Florida by myself. So I have friends online now.
You're not by yourself. I'm in Florida too. Don't you forget. I'm just a hop, skip, and a jump away.
Yeah, I'm driving down there next week. You cool with that?
That's cool. I got a couch.
I'm kidding. I'm not, but I thought about it like just now for about 2 seconds.
Yeah, I was just kidding too. My wife would never let you sleep on our couch.
What? I'm like,
I'm just kidding.
I'm like the coolest basic stranger that you've ever met.
It's probably true.
I've only met one of you people in real life. Topher, I don't know if you know of Mr. President or if you've spoken to him or.
Yep,
yeah,
he's been in my streams a few times.
Yeah, me and the woman took a trip out to Texas this last year for a friend of mine I used to live with he and his wife in a big house here in Florida. I mean the fucking house had like 5 bedrooms, and they would always, the dude at work was always welcoming like airmen in to come live with them for a while to get on their feet, but we became really good friends, so I lived with them until they moved back to Texas because he got out of the military. Anyway, they just had their first kid. They were doing a bunch of baby showers and stuff. Or it was prior to the kid being born. And so me and the woman drove out to Texas, and Prez was like, oh, well, man. I'm out here in San Antonio. And I was like, well, say less. Where you at, man? I'll meet up with you right now. And we hung out and got a few drinks and then hung out on the roof of the parking structure where he lived at and kept drinking. And then 1 hour turned into like 5 hours, and my woman was like, are you coming back tonight? And I was like, oh fuck yeah, I gotta go, bro. It's been like 5 hours.
Doesn't he live in New York now?
He does. And so we're probably gonna meet up with him again.
Texas, I was like, I thought he lived in New York.
Yeah, he lived in Texas, yeah, and now he lives out in like, he works in New York. I don't know if he actually lives in New York.
He's in PA.
But I told him when I go up to New York this time around.
He doesn't commute to New York every day, does he? Or does he work from home?
He does. He drives every day when he works.
That's rough.
Yeah, he says it's like
rough.
a 2-hour commute.
Oh God.
What a 2-hour commute? Is that what you said?
You don't understand. People around here are weird. Like you commute. But I'm like, you have to go through a whole other state to get to New York. He's from Pennsylvania to go through Jersey.
Right.
That's a 2-hour drive. That's insane.
Shit, man. I get driving anxiety. I trust myself, but I trust absolutely no one else. So I can't even imagine driving in New York at all. I would freak out.
You would.
It's rough.
I grew up in Wisconsin.
I don't think it's as bad as LA is, because LA has like the 10.
New York traffic moves. LA traffic does not.
Sometimes depends on where you're at.
It's also
it's gotten better
in New York City though.
Yeah, New York got better.
Metro, man. The metro and walking is just gonna be faster anyway.
I grew up and got my license in Wisconsin, man. In Wisconsin, let me tell you, the most amount of lanes I've ever seen on a road is like 3 if you're lucky, but it's mainly like 2 unless you hit Milwaukee. And like, I was fine. Moved to Florida. All of a sudden, some of these places when I went to like Atlanta, it was like 5 or 6 lanes. I was like, bro, get me the fuck off this freeway because I can't do this.
Yeah, it's one thing I could say I didn't miss when I left New York was the traffic. I was like, I wish I didn't have to deal with that. I wish we had pandemic traffic still, because that shit was amazing. No one was driving. You could get to and from the city uncaught, and now it's an hour. It's an hour to get. And I live the city. I live about 12 miles from the city, so it's not that far. It's not that far. It just takes so long to get there because of traffic.
guess the Bronx is still part of the city, isn't it?
Bronx
I
is
lived in the Bronx.
Bronx is
I lived
Bronx
in
is
the
still
Bronx for a little while.
considered. Yeah,
Yeah,
Bronx
yeah.
Bronx is the worst. I say the worst area. I mean in terms of traffic, but that was back when the George Washington and nothing was like you didn't have the easy pass lanes. Like you had still cash lanes. Now they have where you pay for. They just basically take a camera shot of your license plates and send you a bill, so people
Oh,
are
yeah.
able to drive through. But before that, there's many times I got stuck on the Brooklyn Queens Expressway, and you have to go through the Bronx. Um, you to go like 5 exits one time took me 3 hours. I'm not even like 3 hours because
No.
I was traveling to Pennsylvania, and I literally just put Netflix on my phone and I watched a movie in my car, waiting for traffic to move. Like it was crazy.
I literally just did that when we came back here from Orlando. We went to Orlando to see a concert, and on the way back, granted it was some holiday weekend, I think. I don't know. Regardless, doesn't matter. We were driving back on Sunday, and there was like 5 crashes along the way. So just leaving Orlando, it turned our like 6-hour drive into like a 9-hour drive, and we binged an entire show on Netflix through the entire drive because I was like, dude, if I have to sit here and stare at brake lights for 9 hours, I was like, we're not doing this. We're gonna watch a show. And me and the woman just binge watched this show called Drink Masters on Netflix. It's just a bunch of people making alcoholic drinks for judges because we're consumers, and we just like, oh, they're gonna go home and who's gonna win, and you know, stupid stuff like that.
Yep.
Those stupid shows, but they hook you, man. They really get you. That show had me by the balls, man. Then they sent my favorite guy home, and I was like, fuck this show. I don't want to watch it anymore.
Like, yep, you're wrong one. You're done. You're done.
I know how you feel, man. It sucks. Granted, okay, I shouldn't say I know how you feel. I feel like Orlando traffic and New York traffic are two very different versions of traffic, but
I don't drive to New York City anymore. I take the train. I'm just done with it.
I was gonna ask that. I was actually gonna ask, like, so is the train like the main sort of transportation?
If you
Traffic
want to get
being
to
so
like
bad?
anywhere, like if you want to go to the city, you take the train in. Almost everyone takes the train in. That's where most of the commuting comes. And they got commuting from. You can take a train from New Jersey to New York City. Then
So if I want to see
take
Times
subways.
Square, fuck the Uber, take a train, is what you're saying.
Yeah, absolutely, because you're gonna spend maybe $5-6, $12. We'll say $12, depending on where you're at. Versus taking an Uber, $100 to get into the city.
Fuck that. Yep. All right, train it is. Shit, I'll walk there. I don't care. Although it's probably super cold up there.
Uber to and from work, and it's like $30 to get to and from work from where I'm at. And I don't work in the city. I work like my job is 5 miles away, 3 miles away, if that. And it's like $30. So 20-minute drive takes forever, and it's $30. So going to and from the city, take a train. Take the train. Plus, you'll be like, you get to see once you arrive in Penn Station, you get to check out Penn Station, which is one of the sightseeing locations anyway. And you get to go up Penn Station, see all the cool stuff in there. All the armed policemen with their AR rifles just standing in the corners. Like you're like, wow, this place is fucking crazy. Like then you go up and then you just see the city and how big it really is, and how spread out everything that you want to see really is.
Yeah,
So,
I'm gonna be super tourist. I told her I want to go see the tree and I want to see the square, and she was like, she lived in New York, so she's seen it all. She's like, oh, you want to be a super tourist? And I was like, hell yeah, I do. Come on, the biggest city I've lived in is in Fort Walton Beach, Florida. Yeah. I mean, come on now.
Times Square and the tree are very close to each other. But like, if you wanted to see like the World Trade Center, that's on the other end of New York City. Like that's a taxi ride or a subway ride to the other end, because that's more in Brooklyn area. And World Trade Center is like the Brooklyn side of New York City, and you're like Times Square is like towards the center. But it's a trip, especially Christmas, like holidays, like right around now.
Mm-hmm.
People everywhere. people are everywhere.
Oh, I'm sure.
Everyone's doing their holiday shopping, the Christmas tree, and they got ice skating rink down there off the road it's on. I can't remember what it is.
Yeah, we got like a free day and a half, so I'm like, let's go do the things. Because whenever we go somewhere, we will get like an Airbnb or whatever, but it's literally only there to sleep. We're always out doing something. We're going there for a birthday party. Her uncle's boyfriend is planning this party, and he was like, "Hey, I want you to come coming up to New York for the party or whatever." And we were both like, "Bro, we ain't got the funds for that." And they got some money, so he was like, "Well, I'll pay for your commute, like your plane tickets and where you're staying. We just want you to be there." And I'm like, well, shit. I mean, I'm not going to turn down a free trip to New York. I mean, I'll say it. Fuck it, man. She was like, well, I don't want him to pay for all that. And I was like, it's a free trip to New York. Like, he's offering.
Just make sure if you decide to go out to eat that you look at, because some of those restaurants are like, you're like, really? It's $35 for a bowl of macaroni and cheese?
Oh,
Kraft.
But
and it's Kraft.
But
they don't even have Velveeta.
That bowl of macaroni and cheese was the next bowl of macaroni. It was like a truffle cheese.
We got like gold plates in there, or the gold sprinkles.
Oh, it was so good, but it was so ridiculously expensive. Like and it was not like a large bowl. It was like a bowl like this big and like that tall, and it was nonsense.
Paying for the experience.
Fuck, man. I got to pay to get like a whole fucking suit get up. It's like a bougie party, and there's no like theme set yet, but we're pretty sure it's going to be just like white and black, like dress up. I've never owned a suit in my life. I don't even own a tie that the Air Force hasn't given me. Like,
yeah,
bro, I don't know what the hell to wear. So I was like, we need to go out and figure out what the fuck we're going to get, because
I feel like when a man gets a suit, you feel really good. You look to get a good suit, like a decent suit. I'm not saying go and get like the most expensive, fits your body, because nothing. You feel really, really good.
Go rent something nice for the day.
Yeah, like
we got rented suits when I was standing in a wedding, and let me tell you, I was dripped out. I felt so fucking good in that suit. I was like, man, I can't keep this.
There's like a level of confidence that comes from like a good suit that just like your normal confidence might be here dressed up good, and then you wear that suit, it's like yeah, I look real good.
I feel good in my fucking G is for Ghostface shirt, man. I can only imagine how good I'll feel in a goddamn suit. But it's still hot in Florida, so I'm not about to actually put on a sweatshirt or nothing. Like,
hot in Florida.
Normally this time of year it's not even this warm. Like, this is the first year that it's actually been fucking hot still. So it's like
we've had a couple cold. We've had a couple cold days here. It's been relatively cold. I'd say it's like 50s, 60s, which to us is mild.
That's surprising, though.
I thought a big winter storm just came through there like last week or something.
One went through the Midwest. I know that for a fact.
Yeah, we didn't get any snow or anything. You just got like a cold snap that was like 2 days and some rain. We got some rain.
Yeah, back home in Wisconsin, they had absolutely nothing, and then overnight they had like a foot of snow, and then it melted in like 3 days.
They got all that Great Lake effect over there. Like,
true.
I lived in Michigan, so we're like surrounded. It was the one place I'd never want to go.
Maine, Michigan, or UP?
Maine, Michigan.
Maine, Michigan.
Yep. I grew up there, so there was all snow. So anywhere I moved out, snow. Like 3 feet of snow was like a normal snow. Anything more than that was like, okay, we're getting snow. We gotta kind of be careful. But 3 feet of snow, nothing. So,
nah, dude, I remember.
And like, it was, for me, it was unheard of for people to eggs and bread every time they called for snow. Like, I was like, do you not have these things? Like, it's only a dusting. Like, do you expect to be like not be able to go anywhere on like an inch of snow? Like, what is happening here? So for me, it was such a weird transition. Any other state where that doesn't normally get snow.
It is. It's super weird. I remember my first year here in Florida. It flurried, nothing accumulated, and they shut everything down. They sent us home early from work. They were like, the jets aren't flying in this. And I'm like, these are all weather jets, but we don't have all weather pilots. So that's why, like, that's the whole thing. And then when I was in school up in Wisconsin, where I grew up, our bus literally drifted into a snowbank and they just called a new bus to get us to school. So it was like, I was like, bro, you guys are getting upset over some flurries? Y'all would never make it in Wisconsin.
Oh, like a state of emergency for like a slip ball dusting of snow.
But I need
like
snow. I need it.
I remember seeing it happen in Georgia like a couple years, and like there was like pileups of like cars just have crashed because like they couldn't handle the snow. It's like, listen, you don't drive like an asshole. It's really what it is. The moment it snows, you drive like a normal person that knows that, hey, it's gonna be slippery outside, kind of thing.
Traction.
So
it gets bad enough. Put that car in neutral to brake, because you don't want that extra driving force. If you have an automatic car, obviously, manual's different. Shit. On the way to get like to go to basic training, that was out in Madison. We lived like 2 hours away. We had gotten an ice rain storm the night prior, so we had to leave 4 hours early. And then a lot of the roads, I just had to put the car in drive, but not touch the gas pedal, because the second I touch the gas pedal, I'm just spinning. And then you have like 4-foot ditches on both sides, because we lived out in the middle of nowhere. And then the roads were hardly big enough for 2 cars. And my mom, let me tell you, hand on the roof, hand on the dash, freaking out. And I'm just like, we're fine. We're just going to go like 3 miles an hour down this road until we get to somewhere that actually gets salted. And then we'll be fine. She's like, we're going to die, like freaking out.
This is going to sound extremely sexist, but I feel like that's every woman in a car that they're not driving.
No.
If they're in the front passenger seat, that is their job and responsibility. Overreact to every slight break that you're doing. Like,
the lights yellow on top.
I realize how sexist that is. So any ladies that might be listening, calm down. It's okay. Like, you're driving for a while.
That's sexist, but it's true.
I will admit that the roles have reversed in the relationship I am now. I'm definitely like the safe driver, but when she's driving, she drives a truck. So she's like, if we get in a car crash, I'm winning. So fuck everybody else. And I'm the one holding on to shit. Like, I can't even look. When she was driving my car to go to Texas back in May, bro, I was all the way back. I'm not looking at the road. I'm just chilling, because I can't watch you. I can't watch you.
If I'm going to die, I don't want to know what's coming.
Yeah, exactly. She'll see brake lights and she hits the gas to get closer. And I'm just like, woman, relax. All right. Come on. So I was the one freaking out. Definitely, her driving scares me. But then when I'm driving, she's like, you drive like an absolute baby. You are the biggest wimp. You are too kind. I would have been cutting people off.
Is she from Florida?
No, she was born in the DR. Moved in with her adopted parents in New York. Grew up in New York, and then married the dude in the Air Force and moved to Vegas. And then he got orders to Florida, and she's been in Florida ever since. So she's driven in New York and Vegas. So she's aggressive as fuck.
New York explains it.
Yeah.
Well, DR too, because she got that fiery Latina blood.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she doesn't really remember life in the DR. She literally was just born there and then got adopted somewhere else.
It's in her blood.
Oh, yeah, believe me. Believe me, I know. Believe me, I know. But yeah, between Vegas and New York, I understand why she's an aggressive driver, because she tells me all the time, if you had to drive in Vegas or New York, you'd actually have to be aggressive while driving. And I'm like, yeah, relax.
The thing is, you don't have to be aggressive, but understand that everyone else is aggressive in New York, and they're impatient.
Yeah.
The most impatient people I've ever met. It's the one thing that drives me nuts. People in New York will honk at you the moment the light turns green, as if you didn't. Like, I'm well aware that the light is green, and it just turned green, and you're already. Because like, if you're not going, it turns green, they're honking at you. Now, the caveat to this is New Yorkers are the slowest motherfuckers to walk. When they're walking, they take their time. They are in a rush in a car, but if they're crossing the street, they walk so slow.
It's like they got nowhere to be anymore as soon as they step out of their vehicle.
I have never been so confused and angry at New York watching them go driving a car and being on your ass and honking, get out, go, kind of thing, and then watch them walk across the street and take 10 minutes. And be like, listen, we're trying to turn here. Can you go any slower? And they're just like, I mean, granted, some of them are tourists, but you know,
That'll be me. That'll be me in January. Staring at all the big buildings. Just like, wow, this is crazy as I'm standing in the middle of an intersection.
You can tell the tourists from the locals. Like you really can.
Oh, yeah.
You 100% can tell the tourists from the locals. You see someone walking down this street and their hair's all like crazy and they got like a leather jacket and you know that that's the punk rockers from like, they live here. They're like very modern in New York look. New Yorkers dress a very specific way. Unless and you can tell based on areas that you're in, like really rich areas, you know that they're from there. Like, yeah. They're all up to their business suits. They look all flashy. You know, they got an elevator doorman just welcomes them to their condo. Like, yeah.
Yep, that's gonna be me. I'm gonna be the tourist. And you know what? I'm perfectly okay with that. I was the same way in Vegas. I was like, I'm the tourist, and I don't give a shit that I look like it because I know I look like it. Especially when we hit downtown Vegas with the big fucking overhang of just all the lights and the videos.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but then I got a little drunk and I was like, there's way too many people here. My anxiety's going through the roof. So I need to like get away from the masses for a second and catch my fucking breath. Which is what it's going to be like in New York too.
Growing up, New York always fascinated me. I was like, oh man, I think it'd be so amazing to live in New York City. It's so busy. There's always something to do. Looks like a magnificent city. And it is. It's a very, everything about it, New York is until you work there. Until you have to work in New York City. And then your tune changes. And I'm like, I never want to fucking live in New York City. These people are nuts. I'm good. I want to live somewhere quiet.
Go up to Alaska. It was super quiet where I was at in Alaska. I was only there for like 3 weeks, but you know, it was enough.
Not to say that I wouldn't ever visit Alaska. I'm not a fan of living places that are really, and I keep living places that are really, really. My end goal is to spend a couple years in like Costa Rica and just live there, live in like the jungles and have like sloths hanging from trees. I want to hang out there. Then again, I also would love to go to Norway and just be like, take me on a Viking cruise or something. Like, it'd be awesome.
Get you some mango IPAs.
Right.
That's right.
Yes,
He doesn't get that one.
That's a bit of an inside joke. So Mr. Gossen here in the Creators Lounge, he's from Norway. He's Norwegian. And every stream, that motherfucker has a mango IPA, and we've given him shit ever since about it.
It sounds good. I'm not even gonna lie.
It does sound good. And I think half the reason why I give him shit is because I'm jealous. But he said he would send me some eventually.
A part of it is like this masculinity thing where like, you're not allowed to enjoy fruit with your alcohol because that's girly. Like fuck that.
Yeah, fuck that, dude.
Give me that sweet nectar inside my beer.
Hell yeah.
Shit sometimes.
I mean, I'll drink a craft beer or regular beer, whatever else. But man, I'm at the point where I've gotten this new thing. It's super cool. I get 2 or 3 day hangovers now. So I don't really do like shots anymore, but give me that one really good sweet drink and I'll be kosher for the rest of the night, man.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, shit.
I love that's so awesome. So because there's a stage of, and I think MilkMan can probably, when you're in your early 20s, you can drink and like you can pull all-nighters, drink all night, and you'll wake up the next day and you might be like a little dehydrated, but you can function as a human being. You get to your mid-20s, you start to accumulate those hangovers. You're like, I'm a little weather. Then you hit your 30s, and you realize it takes you out for a week. You're like, I can't function. I'm done. So then you start to learn how to enjoy alcohol the way that it was meant to be enjoyed. You get yourself to a point where you're just at that buzz. You're not intoxicated to the point that you can't function, but you're good. You're happy. You're warm. You enjoy it. You're at that level, and you learn how to pace yourself, and so you don't get, hungover anymore. because you can't pull an all-nighter. We're in bed by 9:30.
Shit, 2-3 years ago. 2-3 years ago, I'm at the bar till bar close. Here it's 4 a.m. And then we keep drinking after that. And yeah, now it's like, fuck, man, if I'm going to drink like that, I need to make sure we do it on a Friday night. So I have the weekend to get right again before work. And it's just started happening. And I'm not a fan. But I also don't know how to pace myself yet. But we're slowly learning. Slowly.
You get there.
You get there.
Yeah, you get there. It stops becoming more of like you drink recreationally. Like you drink and you're not chugging stuff, you're drinking.
You're not drinking to get drunk.
You're pausing. Yeah, you're drinking just to enjoy the camaraderie with friends.
Yeah.
And sometimes you will overdo it still. Like somebody using my coworkers at work, they're also much younger than me for the most part. My other coworker, he's like 43, so he gets drunk. But we also drink differently. I don't drink a lot of beer, like a scotch or a whiskey, and I can drink like Jameson straight and just put it in my mouth and let it sit there and swallow it and enjoy the aftertaste, which is something I couldn't do in my 20s. I'm like, that like that burns. Spicy.
Why is it spicy? I've gotten into the whiskey tasting. I got a bunch of local brewery bottles up above the shelf. I just since I don't know how to pace myself, once I start getting to that point, my brain is like, let's just do more. Let's get crazier, man.
You're at that point where you're like, well, we've already got this, or we might as well just finish it.
Yeah,
your end point used to be like, I can't function, like slur my words, stumble down the stairs. But as you start to get sicker and sicker from it, and you have those words, you're like, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. And you start to pace yourself. By the time you hit 30, I think you'll figure it out. I think.
Hopefully.
Or you'll become an alcoholic and you'll never figure it out. And that sometimes happens too.
But you know what? Live your best life.
Facts. My woman's feeling the repercussions of her actions today too. She went a little overboard. We started the day off with tacos and margaritas, so that was like the stepping stone of it all. And then we got back to the house with a friend, and she's like, shots, and I was like, hell nah. But her friend was like, hell yeah. So then they started doing shots, and then she had a few beers, and she woke up today and she was like, my head hurts, and I was like, well. Mine doesn't, because I didn't do the shots.
you get her a nice tall bottle of water. You get her a small shot of whatever she has. Have her do that to kind of get the alcohol.
Little jump start.
Yeah, and like, here you go. And then, for me, alcohol has adverse effects. Gives me the morning squirts. So you wait till you hit like your late 30s and you realize it doesn't affect your brain, your ability to walk. It now affects your bowel movement and everything. So
yeah, she's
super fun.
32. Her hangover cure is to just chug a fucking ginger ale, and then she seems to be fine except for the headache. She can't ever get rid of the headache. Yeah, she'll knock back like 800 milligrams ibuprofen and slam a whole ginger ale. Then she's like, all right, I'm fine. But I'm not going to drink again today.
She really is the man in the relationship, isn't she?
Bro, I'm telling you that I'd be lying if I said I wore the pants in this relationship. I don't. She's the one who plans the trips. She's the one who she can outdrink me like fucking crazy. She's dead. She's in charge. Every weekend, I'm like, what are we doing this weekend? Because I don't fucking know. She plans shit while I'm not even there. So I have to be like, what are we doing? I had to ask her. I was like, hey, we got anything going on Sunday? She goes, no, I don't think so. Why? I'm like, well, I'm trying to record this podcast. And she goes, well, and I was like, well, and she was like, nah, we'll do what I wanted to do on Saturday instead. And I was like, okay, all right, good. So yesterday we did the tacos and margaritas, and then we went to go see some Christmas lights, and we exchanged the Christmas gifts already.
Her idea or your idea for the Christmas?
Her idea.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure because it's universally that they love fucking Christmas lights. It's like,
yeah,
every time I'm in a relationship, like, you want to go see Christmas lights? I'm like, I mean, they all look the same to me. Wow, like they don't really change. It's like someone just they get way more enjoy out of it. Like I don't enjoy it nearly as much as they do.
Yeah,
So
she
I'm like,
was like, let's go look at Christmas lights, and I'm like, sure, yeah. But then whenever I finally get there, I'm just like, yeah, this is pretty cool. But like the whole like thing beforehand, I'm just kind of like, it's whatever, you know. It takes me actually having to be there to be like, all right, this is enjoyable.
however, if I ever saw one of those houses where they do like the full audio thing, whereas like the music, that I would be like, oh yeah, I'm here. This is where I'm gonna be for like the next 2 hours. So,
There
like,
was one
we're
house
not
that
moving.
had like the music and the lights going, and then they also had like, I don't know how they did it, if it was like a screen or a projector, but the quality was too good to be a projector. But they had some sort of like video going on their window too, where like it was Santa with whatever else doing things. But yeah,
they put like a white screen, like a white cloth that you can kind of see through, but like a sheet or something on the window, and they use a higher lumens. Cats are right up there. It's 100% a projector.
Oh
they
shit!
They sell them in stores. Yep.
And projections have come a long way, because shit, I couldn't remember projectors ever being that high quality. Shit, I remember the one where they had like the camera, like the 90-degree camera, or not camera, the mirrors with the light underneath. Yeah, like the school projectors. And I'm like, man, the quality shit. But
no, they're insane now. I mean, technology has just advanced so much. Yeah, that was the thing that started. Probably started seeing those become really popular about 8 to 10 years ago. And they do it for Halloween too.
Oh man,
that fly into the windows and stuff.
I love Halloween, man. Halloween Horror Nights every year. We go every year now. I can't wait for next year.
Halloween's probably one of my favorite holidays of the year.
Dude. They announced a Chucky house this year. I'm actually super hyped. I want a Ghostface house, but they're never gonna do it. So I'll just try.
If you like haunted houses, I'm telling you, some of the places in Pennsylvania probably the best haunted hayride houses, like sections I've ever been to.
Can they touch you?
I mean, it's this whole hayfield, and they have like buildings. They do it pretty well. Some of them like animatronics and stuff like that they throw in there, but they don't really touch you. I did a zombie laser tag here in New York once, and they could kind of touch you, but it was rough. It was rough because you have to shoot these zombies with a laser, and they like it signals to them somehow. I don't know, maybe they have a shock collar or something. Zaps them and drops them. I don't know what goes on there.
Imagine the employment interview for that one. Listen, this is the job,
but like,
you get zapped.
It's a full-fledged production the moment you walk in. Like there's no staff going, how many people? No, they come in and like it's already started. Like they're yelling at you, like get over here, like we need you right now. And like they're like, how many people are in your unit? Like kind of like acting the entire time. Craziest thing I've ever been to.
Sounds awesome. I had to ask if they touch you because I got scarred for life. There was one in Wisconsin where they could like not only touch you, but they could like grab you and pull you into different rooms. And I got grabbed and pulled into a room by myself, and I was like,
pulling me.
I was like
what's not happening?
Maybe 13, 14 years old, and bro, literally the scariest experience of my life, because like I pulled into this room, didn't even see who pulled me because the room was super dark, and all of a sudden this door opens up and there was light, and I was like, nah, what's my safe word? Get me the fuck out of here. Like, this is not okay. And I have to ask that. I couldn't even tell you what the name of it was. They're shut down now because I guess they
that's too many people.
Yeah, they didn't do. They were violating a lot of different shit, which makes sense because the way that I was fucking grabbed should not have happened. As I was like, it wasn't even like grabbed. Like this motherfucker, like I was in the middle of the pack and he just like zoomed in from one side and like basically like tackled me into this other room. So I was just like, nope. What's my safe word? Banana, get me the fuck out of here. I can't be here. I'm going to piss myself. So I have to ask. Scarred.
I don't think a lot of places do touch you. They
Too
can
much
kind of,
liability.
to a degree, like they might be able to like reach out and like,
Yeah. You gotta like
Yeah,
sign
do
like
something like
full waiver and shit
but
too.
even then, people are like, I felt assault. I don't know if I like it's day and age, like who knows.
It's more of a liability to have them do stuff like that. Yeah.
Mhm.
And Halloween Horror Nights, they don't. This one mummy accidentally touched me. I mean, he's wearing all this fucking get up. He can probably hardly see, let alone
Mhm.
breathe in that damn thing. So he like did his pop out thing where he jump scared you and he brushed my shoulder and I about shit a brick. But he didn't do it on purpose. At least I don't think he did. Like I said, I doubt he could even fucking see 2 feet in front of him, let alone all these people who are just funneling through at all times. So, but yeah, bro, that mummy scared me so bad. Like, they do 10 haunted houses at Halloween Horror Nights. This was like the 6th one we went into. I was fine. First 5 houses, perfectly chill. I was like, this is super cool. You got me, whatever. This mummy thing happened, and the next 4 houses were a living hell. Everything scared me. Things that were supposed to be scary, they scared me. Like, I was literally jumping. My fight or flight kicked in once, and I fists up but ran. So like, I don't know if I was fighting or flighting at that moment in time. But yeah, that mummy scarred me forever.
Something happened
I
that
don't
you
think
didn't
I've-
expect to happen, and so all the future interactions were, I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I don't think haunted houses not necessarily scare me anymore. I don't think they ever really did. But I video games that are like the horror games, the worst. They're the worst.
I do.
I'm a full grown man, and I feel those games because I do like what you do. Like my hands come up, I'm like, ah! I'm screaming. Like there's some videos of me playing some games somewhere, probably on the internet at this point, but they're bad. Like I full on scream. One of the worst games I've ever played. It was horrible. One of the best horror games out there. Well done. Well done. So good. But in terms of someone that's like jump scares and shit like that and just being creeped out, terrible. So bad. Visage.
Oh.
Weren't you telling me about that one, Senpai? Topher, I don't know if you know this, but Senpai is an authority.
I love horror games. And if you want a game, there's a game that is actually, I love horror games, right? I like being scared, but there's a game I have yet to complete because I'm so fucking scared of it, and it's Alien Isolation. It literally scares the shit out of me.
Alien Isolation was boring for me. It did not scare me.
It's super boring in the beginning. It takes like 6 hours of the game for you to actually see the alien.
Because I was trying to like, I saw it like a couple times, but it never. But like Visage, hands down, terrified me.
Oh man,
it was so good because it wasn't just the jump scares. It was the atmosphere. Everything kind of kept you tense the entire time. I was in like full on sweat mode. Like, just starting the game up because things could happen at any point in time, no matter what. Like if you didn't take these sanity pills, basically, which like phasmophobia, like you started just more and more things would start to happen, and things would pop out, things would jump at you. Oh man, it was so good.
I'm gonna have to look into that one.
I've never played a game that was so well done like that, like horror game, and it takes several hours to complete.
This is the one where it's in basically like a house where there were all these horrors and stuff, right? Yeah, I looked into that one. I was thinking.
And you play different chapters. You play different stories to kind of follow a storyline. If you love horror games, I still hands down recommend that one.
That's one where I'm assuming you cannot kill whatever's attacking you, right? It's strictly just like
you can run.
Flee. Okay. Because I've come to realize through my love of horror games that the games where you can actually like kill the enemies, like the Resident Evils, the Silent Hills, aren't as scary because you have a defense. But in the games where you don't have a defense, like the one you mentioned, and even the Amnesia games, those ones scare me more because I don't have any sort of defense. My only defense is to just run away and hope they don't find me. And that, like, when I'm running away from something in a game, I feel like the shivers down my back, and I'm like, I need to get the fuck out of here.
Dude, I've never hated and loved a game so much as I did Visage. I abhor being jump scared. Like I hate it. I hate it so much because I get it's very emasculating. See a grown man, you know, I'm a pretty big guy, and just being like, screaming in my chair, like it's bad. But my viewers loved it, loved scaring me, and worse, I think so. It wasn't so much the game. I mean, the game was bad. What's worse is because I was already tense. They would send like audio bites to alert me. I was jumping and screaming. I was jumping and screaming on some of the most mundane and not scary sounds. So
Yeah.
I would hear. I had one that was a boop. It was like boop, and I would like what the hell? Because I'm so tense and so stressed from the game, like any sound that wasn't normal would freak me out. Like I was like, I can't believe I just yelled. Sound like that was the worst.
Did I make that noise? Surely that wasn't me, right?
You're like, was that the game? What's about to happen?
I think that's my biggest regret is giving my viewers points that they could use to scare me. It's my biggest regret because they do it. They're fucking clever, man. They know when I'm not looking at chat and they know when to do it. And then it happens. And then I just scream. And then the people who I'm playing with are like, what just happened? And then I'm just like, they scared the shit out of me, man. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
There were a couple good games I played that did that. I played one called Sign of Silence. It was a couple years ago. It's like early. I think it's the very first year I started streaming and taking it seriously. I was October for that month. I screamed so loud, I thought that I would have to apologize to like my upstairs at the time because they might have thought someone was dying. Because the jump scares in there were so loud, it only made me louder. I feel like I've never screamed that. Visage got me good several times. But I was like, we're just having a conversation. I'm walking along in the trees and looking through the kind of edge a little bit. We're talking about cookies. I'm like, cookies. All of a sudden, like this thing is like if you flash a light on one of these creatures, it will jump at you, kind of thing, and it's really loud. And I didn't see it. Like normally you would see them, but it was hidden in the trees. And I happened to just the flashlight just hit it. I damn near fell out of my chair. Screamed.
That's great. I'm gonna have to look into these games because I need more horror games in my repertoire.
There's some new ones that I planned on playing. I was going to do like a small little wow, I almost said something terrible there. I was gonna say I almost said like a pre. I was like, no. So, because I'm coming back in January, I was gonna do something just like a stream, but I got sick. I was like, good. But there was a couple games like Madison I was gonna play.
Heard that one was good.
I think Mortuary's Assistant, the full game.
Heard that one was also very good.
Mortuary's Assistant got me good a couple times. I played the demo. And I played the demo for Madison. Madison is very close to Visage in terms of atmospheric creepiness. But Mortuary's Assistants.
He said nah. He's like, nope.
That game sucked. You got me so good. Here's the thing. I don't like things chasing me. That is like the worst. And so having things like there and all of a sudden come chasing after you, oh man, that'll get me every time. Every damn time. Every game where I've ever screamed aloud, something chased at me. Like either jumped towards me, come like really like you'd see it really like in the distance, boom, coming at you, gets me every time. My most girlish scream, my highest scream was in a game where nothing was chasing me, but the sound sounded like something was chasing me. and my voice got so high squealy, I had to stop, pause it, and be like, we're just going to ignore that happen. That was not a sound that ever should come out. Like that was because I had to go from one room. Also, I hear like these footsteps running, like, and I would, I never saw what it was. It just scared the crap out of me because I knew it was coming.
Man, we make these weird noises, but MilkMan doesn't get scared at those games, man.
I don't know why. I don't know why. Like I literally tried to find a game to scare me through October this year.
And you played a few. There was like 4 or 5 different games you tried.
I got bored of them before I got scared. I'm just like, no.
What games did you play?
I did Dead Space 2. I did Pacify, Phasmophobia. Nothing like super scary. Like I thought about doing Visage, but I didn't want to pay for it. You know, I don't want to pay for games.
Dead Space, I never really got into.
I was told Dead Space was one of the scariest games, and I'm like,
yeah,
okay. SCP, we played the SCP containment game.
Yeah, but you didn't get scared. You just got mad. that game pissed him off. He just kept dying, and then it would have to get, whenever you died, you get reset at the beginning. And
like I can get trashed over and over again in like Warzone and be fine. But this game had me getting ready to just like smash my fucking keyboard.
He was done.
Playing, like Dead Space to me is a lot like Alien Isolation. They're more like jump scare moments, not really like atmospheric, like creepy and scare you. So I can see why you're not really getting scared from that. Phasmophobia doesn't scare me.
No.
In the beginning, when the first game first came out, it got me, but I got used to it really, really quickly.
Yeah,
and it became predictable.
I also did it on VR first too, so it's a little bit different.
Yeah,
dude, playing that game in VR, nope, never again. Horror games in VR, not fucking happening. All right.
But I did this one demo in VR that was basically just like, oh, scary things, and it would be like you're sitting in a bed and you're like a kid in a kid's room, and there's like a creepy clown. And
yep, I remember that one.
Yeah, that one got me.
That was the jump. That was some of the jump scares. You were playing, and let me see if I get this right. Like the greatest fears or something. You're like
something like that. Yeah, it was like a free demo on Oculus, something like that.
Yeah, yep. I played the same one, and I remember it got me only at the point where I was because you lay on the bed, like, you can't move. It's
this is the same spot, the scissors, right?
100% the experience. You just experience it, and there's things floating around.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, fucking shoots right at you. I'm like, oh goddamn! It's like,
that's it. That's exactly. Yeah, you see like the closet doors start shaking, and all of a sudden they go boom, and they open, and the scissors just goes whoom, like right by your head.
I think
the only other part that got me, it startled me, didn't really get me, is like the door next to you kind of creeps open a little bit.
Yeah.
And you're looking over there, and all of a sudden something just looks in, and like you're like, oh, it's like, oh Jesus.
Yeah.
The spider one got me a little bit too in that one.
You said you did say you have like a big fear of spiders, so that one makes sense.
That's true. Yeah.
What it wasn't so much the spider. It was the one that came like right in my face. That one got me. That got me a little bit, but that experience wasn't nearly as Visage. If you want true horror games, Visage really, really good. I have a list of games that I played that have gotten me really good. It's the atmosphere. Like I feel like you need to feel like you're a part of the creepiness. Like you need to be enveloped in, and the sounds and the droning. There's one that was where you just the white noise in the background kind of creep you out, and you're running around with like a camera with IR. I can't remember the name of it, but
Outlast?
No, it was like you're out in the woods, like not just investigating. Let me see. I'm gonna pull up my Steam. I might still have it in my Steam because I have a whole section for horror.
There's a whole thing too. Is like other games that aren't horror games can get away with not having like crazy good atmosphere. I think horror games are definitely the specific brand of games where you need that really good atmosphere. I think to truly gauge if you do or don't like horror games and to see if you actually will get scared by horror games, MilkMan, is to find one that has AAA value. Maybe not pay the AAA game price if you can. I mean, maybe a sale or something, but you need like an actual like AAA horror game that has amazing atmosphere. Because a lot of the ones that you have played, or at least that I've seen you play on your streams, are like the little indie ones, and they're fine for what they are. But they're not going to be the scariest ones. A lot of the indie ones really rely on the fucking jump scares, and then after you get jump scared like once or twice, you're like, okay, well, I'm gonna get jump scared again, and whatever. Like once this fucking ghost catches up to me, it's gonna be like, scary. So eventually, maybe just one game, whenever that is. I mean, it doesn't have to be like right fucking now, obviously, but whenever. Eventually, just find like one, and then maybe talk with me and good old Topher, because it seems like we share the same love for these horror games. We could find you a good one.
Maybe it's an issue where maybe I'm just too scared that I'll find something that actually scares me.
Maybe. Yeah, I got a couple horror games that'll.
He might be the one that'd probably get you the best ones too, because I love horror games, but my all-time favorite horror franchise is Resident Evil. That's what I grew up with. But they're not scary. But they're just they're fun.
Yeah. Like I could play Resident Evil, and Resident Evil, you'll get that one jump scare that like startles you, but it doesn't. You're not on edge the entire time. Like I'll find you games where you're kind of tense the moment you play it. Like you dread playing it because you know you're just instantly your heart rate's already like 100 beats faster than it needs to be. So I can only play them once a year. I only play them once a year. Right around Halloween is when I play them.
A list for October.
Let's get you a good list for October. But hey, I feel like we could be here literally all day. Normally these last about an hour. We're going on 2, so unfortunately I have to kind of start to end it here though. But yeah, I can't thank you enough for being here today, Tophomatic. It was awesome to fucking talk to you. My fangirl moment has been fulfilled, and just I guess in the end here, if you just want to, the both of you just kind of say what you guys got going on in your life. You got anything coming up pretty soon? Anything you're excited about? Stuff like that.
I will be returning back to streaming on YouTube, Tophomatic. My channel's already up. Starting 2023 in the new year. So schedule's kind of being worked out. The streams will be mostly just gaming and general banter. But I'm gonna be putting out more content more towards, what I'm passionate about. So you're probably gonna see more art stuff kind of come up, and we're gonna be talking about my my ventures with Etsy. I don't know what's going. I just started working with Etsy because I was randomly doing some several months ago, and it started selling like really well. I'm like, all right, well,
we'll say less.
I'm like, I don't have to recreate it; they just keep buying it. So I've been doing it's been growing. It's been doing well. So I'm like, I'm gonna teach people how to, as a designer, how to just make money that's basically residual. That I don't have to. I create one time and just keep coming in. So it's my goal to retire by the time I'm 50, selling things and having fun. But I think the biggest news is, if you want to hang out and have weird ass conversations and with the occasional serious conversation, come hang out on the channel.
It's the place to be.
Yeah.
What about you, MilkMan? You got anything coming up?
I got a few things before I do. Remember, you can find all of the links down there. I think it's going to be down for me, right? Senpai, I don't know. Should I?
Everything that you want to see for everybody here on the episode today, all links will be in the description down below, 100%.
Yep, and definitely go hit that subscribe button on Tophomatic.
Hit that motherfucking like button. Ring that bell.
He's already got some sick content over there too, so definitely check it out. As for me, I got the Creators Lounge, man. We're building, we're growing, we're welcoming in more and more creators every month. We've got networking events coming up. Next week we do have our game night. Not next week, that's tomorrow.
That's tomorrow.
Oh shit, that's tomorrow. All right, we got a game night coming up tomorrow. We're doing Jackbox.
Or if you're watching this podcast on the day it releases, it's tonight.
Oh shit. Oh, you're reducing it tomorrow? Oh, okay. Anyway, we'll talk about that later. Yeah, other than that, personally, check out Cobb Aerial Images. We got some new art coming up. That's kind of it. But yeah,
Sorry, there was
thanks,
a gnat.
thanks for having us. We appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Well, thank you guys for
thank
being
you so
here.
much for being here, man. I really appreciate you being so flexible for us. You've been awesome.
Yeah, taking time out of your
Appreciate it.
schedule and just sitting here and talking with us about anything and everything. Like I said before we even started, we just talk about shit. there's no topic here.
That's Sunday. I wasn't doing anything. It was either this or touch myself inappropriately.
Now I'm gonna do that as soon as this is over. It's okay. But yeah, everybody's links will be in the description below. Thank you all for listening. And yeah, have a beautiful, beautiful day. Have fun. Be safe. Watch out for bears. Love you guys. Bye.
Yeah.